Welcome to my apiary. Saturday, July 9th. I'm looking at the sun again. It's nice that we get sunny days. These Pro-Nucs sure make a nice colorful apiary, don't they? So I just ran out here before coffee to bring these out of the building. And as you remember, I put them in the building a couple of days ago just to reorient them so they forget where they live and I can place them back in the same apiary. Made one more than I need for my mated queens, so I've got one more mating nuke over here, and that's going to be awful helpful. I actually have two newly emerged queens in my pocket, so I should go over there and put those in. And but I need to open all the doors here yet, and then I'm going to go in and get some coffee, and we'll see what else happens today. We have queen number 4 in here, and I'm going to go over to the far side and I'll direct release her into a queenless mating nuke, and then she can do her thing. She looks like a really nice one, nice and long. Well, the mating nukes are filling up here. So we're currently on round 5, so this is R5, that's R4. I mark them with the round of grafting that I do so that the calendar matches up, and I know when I should check for eggs and I know when I should give up on them, that kind of thing. It's just the schedule. There's no difference really in the product, but I need to know when to perform certain tasks. I have some R2s over here. So anyway, I'm going to choose, I think I'm going to choose this one on the end. I've been tipping the bricks up on these. It doesn't really matter because I mark the thing, but I've been tipping the bricks so I can easily see at a glance what's going on. I had my wife out here checking cells, or not checking cells, she was checking for eggs. I don't really need my veil, but I'm gonna put it on anyway. I introduced the other 4 today without a veil. You just want to be careful. This is pretty easy. I'm gonna get you really close here because I think this is kind of interesting. And I don't know this by years of experience, but I've learned this. I started doing this last year and I've never had a problem. And that is direct introduction. You know, when the lid is stuck down, they have something. And again, these are kind of oversized mating nukes. They've got way more space than they have bees. But, you know, they've got a few bees. You know, a little bit of brood still. Yeah, we don't need cells. That's what we don't need in here. Keep building them, you know. I've done a cell check on these. They just keep building cells. Okay. There shouldn't be more than one frame. They keep bringing nectar in. That's great, you know. No matter what condition they're in, they can't help bring nectar in. Okay. So my queen is here. And we'll flip that open, we'll flip that open. We'll see if we can convince her to come out. She's just hanging out in there. She doesn't seem too interested. Oh. Okay, so here's my virgin queen. And we'll get her to go right onto the frame. You can see better if they do it on top here, but they're just checking her out. They're not showing her aggression at all. They're usually quite happy to see her. And that's it. That's all there is to it. And that's an R5. lesson I think I'd like to impart by showing you this is there seems to me that there's a lot of bee lore out there. There seems to be a lot of beekeepers who I don't know how to put it. I've always taken all of these complicated steps, and therefore I'm always going to take all these complicated steps, and I'm going to teach everybody that they need to take all these complicated steps in order to do something, because I've never actually tried to not take all these complicated steps. I've had beekeepers, YouTube beekeepers say, spit on the queen, douse the whole thing with honeybee healthy syrup, go what length and what kind of cage they're using, and all kinds of stuff. You have to admit, there's nothing easier than what I just did. And I only learned that works because I tried it. And I did it that way all summer. I raised 60 or more queens last summer. And I never saw a problem. I never saw the bees show aggression toward the virgin queen. And my logic, and you can logic things out and you can say, well, think like a bee, but that doesn't always work. However, to put it in context, to me, if you think about a cell in a queenless colony, colony goes queenless like this mating nuke. They make cells like the mating nuke. The beekeeper doesn't tear them down like I did. That cell matures and a virgin queen emerges. What's the difference between that and what I just did? Maybe there's a big difference to the bees, but to me it seems like it's the same thing. The biggest difference is the one that comes out of the cell in the hive isn't going to have a big yellow dot on her back. And that's more bee lore. People talking about, it's going to make it easier for the birds to see, so they'll eat your queens. I have it on good authority. I have not done the experiments and the numbers that marking queens before mating doesn't change your mating success. So more bee lore. More people kind of, haven't tried, and they just, well, I think this is the way it works, and that's the way to do it. So they'll say that that's a rule. It's not a rule. So I guess the lesson is you need to try things. You need to, listen to experience, but listen to experience. Don't listen to parroting. Parroting stuff is, if somebody's going to parrot something to me, I'm going to ask, well, how do you know that? Have you done that? Where did you get that information? Did you get the information from somebody who's done that? So kind of grill that. Look for the source of where that information came from, because there's so much parroting out there. You smoke the hive and the bees think the forest is on fire, so they're all going to eat honey. And well, maybe they do, but who cares? It works. And that's, you control the bees with the smoke. So anyway, that's just what I would encourage is try things. And this in particular, don't listen to a lot of complicated steps. This hive has been queenless for at least 24 hours, usually 48, because I reset them in my honey house and bring them back out here. So let's say 48 hours queenless. Tear down all the queen cells previous. I don't go through the hive, cause a big commotion, tear down a bunch of queen cells, and then introduce a virgin. Now you saw me do that just here, except I tried to do it very gently and I didn't cause a lot of commotion in there. Normally tearing down queen cells, I'm going to shake the bees off the frame, and that's commotion. Get the bees all worked up and then have a virgin show up. I don't know. That's more bee lore too. It makes sense to me. I don't want the bees all worked up when I put that virgin in there. Maybe they wouldn't care. I don't know. So anyway, that's introducing virgin queen. I'd encourage you to use that method, because it simply works. It's super easy. It's super simple. Keep it simple. Keep it easy. We have these things emerging in the incubator for 2 days. We'll just take them out of the incubator, mark them, put them in the JZBZ cage, walk to the apiary, dump them in a mating nuke. Because we've got a few mating nukes here, queenless, waiting, ready to go. Because I kind of have an idea of what to expect. And they can sit queenless for quite some time. You probably, as long as you've got sealed brood, you're good. If you don't have sealed brood anymore, they've been sitting there for quite some time and they might start into the laying worker thing. So enough talk. Let's go back over there and look at some more stuff. These little pro nukes have some mated queens that I had introduced this morning. And all I want to do is check to see how quickly the bees are getting through the candy. You see them? Let's see, where are you? Okay, so you see them here, they're eating the candy. This little door on top slides back. There's also a little breakaway door on the front here. I chose to not break that away, but just slide this back. So I don't want them getting through that too quickly. And it looks like they're getting through that plenty fast. I think I'm going to close that, get the bees out of it. So I'm going to close that. And with these little cages, they have a little dimple there, a little detent that when you push that right up, it kind of holds it closed. So now it's closed. I'm going to set that back here. They can continue to get accustomed to that new queen. And I'll come tomorrow, perhaps tomorrow, and I'll open that up. I'd like them to have at least 2, not more than 3 days to get used to that queen. And what I can do is, well, look at this one too. I ordered my smoker with me, so I have to mind my manners. See, they're really chowing down on that too. So in a day or two, the bees are going to have stuck this cage. This is one thing I learned about these cages. They're going to have stuck that cage down firmly to those top bars. Okay, so when I come back here, I could just reach in here with my finger and give that a pull back. I don't even have to lift the cage or sweep the bees away. Okay, they're happy to see her. I'm sure they'd love her if they got at her right now. But that is not my plan. So I'm just gonna take that away from the bees for now. Oh yeah, they complied. That's all I'll do. I don't need to slide it up any farther. These pronux are so nice to manage. Just kind of touch the bees and they kind of scurry out of there. Okay. Got 10 of these cages. These are those Ukrainian queens. Ukrainian Carpathian queens. They seem to have had a pretty good review in this area, because I guess one of the reasons is the climate in Ukraine is kind of a little more like Manitoba than, you know, California or Hawaii or something. 3 more here to do. I didn't intentionally line up 3 purple lids here. I'm not paying attention to the colors at all. Okay, nice thing about these queens is you don't always get marked queens when you buy them. These are marked, so that's really awesome. Okay, little bees, go away. There you go. So I can almost close it, and then it's not a big enough space. They can get in there. One little bees. Okay. These little wooden boxes have the typical JZBZ cage. I see they're really kind of going through the candy there. They're really, let me show you. So you can kind of tell how the bees react to the queen, whether they're biting and stinging the cage, and they're not. They're really paying a lot of attention to her, but not in an aggressive way. So even if they burn through that candy, I think they'll just be just fine.